Did you?
Thanks for that.
You're
That's right. There we go. Fantastic.
Ready?
Ready.
All right. Welcome to a special episode of Schnozzcast, episode 56 for Friday, January 24th, 2020. Thank you everybody for joining. We're going to introduce everybody here in just a second. Anybody who's out there on Podbean, thank you very much. Everybody who's listening to the audio executive version of this podcast in the days to come, thank you very much for tuning in. You want to do the intros, sir?
Well, as usual, we have Mr. Bob Rankin.
Hello.
Nick Bader.
Oh, hi.
Ms. Danielle Finn.
Hello.
Thief.
Myself, and our two special guests. Very special guests, Todd Bonner and Jeff Atkins from Detroit Paranormal Expeditions.
Thanks for having us on.
Gentlemen.
So yeah, we were quite excited for this episode, and thank you guys very much for showing up.
It's really our pleasure.
And joining. So to start out here, got quite the rundown for you guys tonight. So.
Hey, hold on, sir. Before you.
Oh yeah, we have some housekeeping to take care of.
Ghost things.
Oh boy.
A little housekeeping to take care of. Yeah. We have, thanks to you gentlemen, credit where credit's due, enjoyed a bit of an uptick in our views and downloads as of late. So for anybody who's new to the podcast, just want to remind you, if you're looking for us on Facebook, you can subscribe to Schnozzcast Videocast to go and look at any past Facebook Live events. If you're looking for the audio experience, you can find us under Schnozzcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Podbean, any one of your iHeartRadio, any podcast platform of choice, you can find us there. And if you want to look to us on YouTube, they're looking for, Corey, keep me honest here, Schnozzcast Podcast.
Yes, Schnozzcast Podcast on YouTube. Feel free to like and subscribe.
Yes. And I did see a couple of posts from some folks on your page saying like, hey, how do I get to this? I got to work tonight.
Yeah.
Which is going to happen. So for those people, or if you're watching now on Podbean or Facebook Live and you got somebody who really wanted to listen to Jeff and Todd talk and hear what they're all about and hear their stories, you can go back to Facebook Live. We'll see if we can do a link to get it up where on your site as well. At least a link to that if nothing else, to catch it at any point going forward after we're done here.
Yeah, we'll definitely send you guys the links and forward you the links to all the different media outlets that you guys can feel free to share.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. That's it, sir.
Well, we also have a new addition for all the Facebook Live listeners and viewers.
Devotees.
We were getting some complaints that the audio wasn't the greatest streaming from the phone, so we had to try to move the phone as close as possible to the table, which obviously creates the issue of not getting everyone in the shot, and people are just like, oh, we can't hear you, so purchased a microphone exclusively for the Facebook Live, so hopefully people can let Nick know if they can hear us better on the Facebook Live now.
I think it was just Sharon. Sharon had a problem. There's
well,
always been fucking Sharon, so now we have a new mic.
Well, Sharon, there you go.
You're welcome, Sharon.
You are very welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it for housekeeping.
Yes, sir. Let's jump right into it.
All right, so Todd and Jeff, let's start from the beginning. How did you guys come to be? As were you guys friends first? Were you guys co-workers?
We met in 2012, 11,
Yeah, I think it was around 12.
on another paranormal group we were both on, and we just kind of clicked. We kind of went off on our own when we did investigations, but we kind of outgrew that. We were on the team for, 4 years probably?
About 4 years, yeah.
And we want to do something bigger, do more things, go more places, travel a lot more. And so that's where we came up with the idea of Detroit Paranormal Expeditions in my basement one night.
Yeah, we
had a lot of fun with that group and learned a lot, and we went to some pretty cool locations, but we wanted to do more. We wanted to get more creative with it. We wanted to do things like our partnership with Atwater. We brewed a paranormal themed beer that's on tap there at Atwater in the park. We've worked with some really cool companies in other ways too, with different types of clothing, and raise money for charities, but we just wanted to kind of go more broad with it, and it's been a really good 3 years. We just passed our 3-year anniversary in December 5th.
Very nice.
Wow.
So you guys basically would have came up with this on kind of like a whim.
I kind of want to hear more about that night where it came up, because I feel like maybe there's a chance where no, it was my idea. No, it was my idea.
No,
we had talked about it.
Yeah, we just had talked about it together, like, let's just do this on our own. And it was a little scary at first because we didn't know what we were going to get into, you know, because like I said, once you put yourself in the public eye, who knows what's going to happen. We had no equipment, we had no social media, we had nothing. We started from scratch, basically, a little over 3 years ago. So.
What was the first thing that you did? The first thing you were like, okay, we got to at least start out with this.
Our first investigation?
No, first, like, okay, we have no supplies, we have no equipment.
We bought used supplies from someone in Kansas, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that is right. I forgot all about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we just had like the basic thing, like the K2 meter and, you know, digital voice recorders and stuff like that. And since then, we've really upgraded and kind of got higher quality stuff now, but you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Right.
Very true, as we have with the podcast.
Right. Just keep on growing.
Somewhat, we're still starting.
Right, basically.
Yeah, and you learn. I mean, the more you do, the more you learn, so we're still learning, and as we go, we learn from other people, from other companies we work with, so it's been a journey.
It's been a good ride.
Yeah.
You guys are only 3 years and you're already you guys have done wonders in 3 years then.
It's been a real busy 3 years, yeah.
I don't doubt it. So I guess kind of segueing from that, do you guys, is this your full-time gig now? Or?
No, we both have full-time.
Do you guys really? Okay.
Yep.
I have 3 kids, work.
Right, yeah.
Hold on. 3 kids?
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have kids?
I don't have any kids.
All right, well, there you go. You can see a one.
That I know of.
Kind of hold on for when kids are sick.
No, so you balance it. It's a passion, and it's really, really fun, and we enjoy it, but you have to balance your normal life with the paranormal life, and it is like a second job. It's a job that's really fun, and it just, new things happen. Like today, we've got a bunch of emails and new locations.
Yeah, it's a little tricky time-wise keeping up with it, you know. I mean, he's got 3 kids and a career. I've got a career, and then I do kind of things on the side of my career too. I do PR, so I have my job, and I also do things on the side with PR. So with the paranormal and all that stuff together, you know, it can be a little challenging to manage, but it's a labor of love.
Wow.
Right.
What do your kids think about?
They all seem to enjoy it. I've taken them all at one point or another to, you know, a haunted location. They've all been to LOEs before.
Oh my God.
My middle son Jackson is a little bit scared. He had experience at LOEs where we used a spirit box.
That was pretty cool.
He actually said his name, and his eyes, he didn't know what to think. You know? And he was a little bit scared. He still talks about it to this day, but it was kind of freaky for me too. I didn't expect that kind of response. I think it said, "Your son's cute."
Well,
it was a couple week thing actually.
It said Jackson a few times, and it was a woman, and the woman said, and even like in subsequent times that we were there, her voice would come through on the second floor and said like "the boy" and like "where's the boy" and stuff like that when Jackson wasn't there. So they liked him.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be a little terrifying.
Yeah, I'm sorry just hearing about it.
So yeah, out of all of us,
I
Nick,
heard that was going to be a reaction.
Nick's kind of the only one that.
Village. So they've got this, you know, however many acres, 30 acres or so, and they've got like I think 30 or 40 buildings that they've all kind of from that area they've all brought in. They've got an old saloon, an old barber shop. They got an old, lots of old family cabins. And the house that we were investigating specifically was called the Carrie Jacobs Bond House. So she was a famous musician from the late 1800s until she died in '48. And she's the first woman to ever sell 1 million copies of a song.
Oh wow.
Interestingly, like this museum sits above, the whole town sits above this former iron mine where there was lots of fatalities and casualties. There was a show on Investigation Discovery called Dead North. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's about a female serial killer. She killed like 10 of her ex-boyfriends and got away with it until her last one, obviously. Well, she lived in the neighborhood right behind this museum and dumped one of her victims in the pond that neighbors the back of this museum. It's right back there. So there's a lot going on, in a place like this. And we were investigating the Carrie Jacobs Bond house, and at first we weren't feeling very much going on in there, and we found some of her actually performing her music from the 20s on YouTube, an audio file of it, and we played it, and the whole vibe of that place just changed.
Really?
That's all it took was just playing.
It was like a trigger. Everything, like someone flipped a switch. I get goosebumps even just thinking about it. The whole house. And you want to tell them about sort of what happened?
So it was a couch about this size, but it was like a period piece, like velvet love seat.
It was almost like a Victorian era couch.
Right.
So I was sitting at one end, and we had our K2 meter, like was about arm's length away from me.
Can you explain to people that don't know what that is, what a K2 meter is?
It just registers the electromagnetic field.
Okay.
Supposedly, and this is all theory again, energies can kick off their own energy, and that will pick it up. I mean, a lot of electricians use it.
So the thing that the K2 is really intended for is electricians use it to find like faulty wiring, things electrically that need to be repaired. But when a spirit is present, spirits are trying to draw energy in. That's why your batteries will die, your phone will die, things like that. They'll try to suck your energy out sometimes. But when they're drawing energy in like that, sometimes what you can end up with is this area that's got a heightened electromagnetic field because they're holding all this energy in. So these meters can sometimes sort of be like one piece of evidence that the spirit's present because it's picking up in that enhanced EMF.
Right, like a hotspot.
And there's so many false readings with that. We don't base like, this is paranormal. This story is paranormal, we think. And it's got lights on it. It's like green,
yellow,
orange, and red.
The higher it is, the
spikes
higher
to red
it's.
is the highest field. So she starts playing the music, and Lauren, who's on our team, starts feeling like a cold spot by her leg, and she's sitting on the piano, and she had just played the YouTube music. Another investigator on our team started seeing like a white mist where she couldn't see across just from here. I was about this far from her.
Because Todd's probably about 8 feet away from them. There's the couch, and then there's like a piano and a piano bench. You've got this other investigator, Lauren, and Lauren talks about that cold spot, and the other lady says that she couldn't focus on the K2. She said, look, there was like a mist between it, like her eyes wouldn't focus.
And then, in the meantime, a digital recorder is sitting on the couch right next to me, too. So we can actually play that for you right after you're done with the story. You can hear it actually sliding, the K2 meter sliding.
And interestingly, it was right after Todd asked whatever was present, if you're here, can you touch that green light, which is the K2 meter. And this couch has got this velvety material, and that audio, you can hear this thing go, like start to actually shift a little bit on this couch.
It actually lights all the way up to red, and it flies off the couch, hits Lauren in the leg.
Jesus.
And it's like, you can hear the audio, it's like, it like shoots off the couch.
And then she screams, we all scream, run out. Jeff's upstairs, I believe.
I was by myself. I'll tell you what. If the ghost in my house was the scariest, this was the second scariest experience. Because I was already freaked out alone upstairs in this, and there's like this blood curdling scream. I ran downstairs. I thought the table was probably levitating or something.
So we had our base camp was set inside like it had an auditorium. It's like Jeff said, it's a miniature Greenville Village up north, I think. So we go back in there. He's not really sure what's going on. Lauren's actually crying. She's so upset.
She was so freaked out she cried. Wouldn't go back in the house.
We were all shaking because I had never experienced energy with that kind of force and energy itself to move something like that. So I told Jeff after about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, Todd wanted to go back in. I
said,
all right.
Let's man up and go back in there and see what this is. Because I want to see what it is, what could do this.
Right.
That's what we're here. That's what we're here to do. So we're in there maybe 5 minutes at the most.
I'll tell people walking into that place the second time, the only way I can describe it is like every cell in my body was telling me not to go in this house.
No,
Just from like an energy perspective, like even aside from just being freaked out about what just happened, it was just like I've never in my life felt like more apprehensive about walking into a place than
It's like
this.
watching a scary movie and you're telling these people, don't go in. So So if this was a movie, people would be like, "Don't you dumbasses go back in the
Right.
house."
What are you doing? Turn around.
It's like such a. It could have been like out of a horror movie. This is like February. It's super.
Oh, yeah.
It's super dark up there. It was like pitch black outside. It's like there's nothing around this town, and it was really windy that night. Like so, we walk into this house the second time, and we're sitting in that parlor area where this had just happened, and I'm hearing like this kind of like shuffling over by the stairs, which I'm trying to like tell myself is the wind. And we're doing an EVP session. I think we lasted 4 minutes in there. We're like asking questions, and there's nobody else in this house. And when you walk in the front door, the parlor's off to the right. To the left is the staircase that goes upstairs. So we're sitting in the parlor, and all of a sudden it's like boom, 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 like these heavy footsteps like running down the stairs. Kind of like, who the hell's in my house? Todd and I both jumped up, and the worst part was you had to go back towards the stairs to get out of the house. Because there's no other door.
You had to go to the noise.
Yeah.
To get out.
So we're like running to
No
the stairs.
escape room.
We're like, what? We have to run to the door. I'm like backing up, like looking up the stairs, and it's just like pitch black. There's nobody.
And it sounded like, I mean, it's a minor town. It's sitting on an abandoned iron mine, but the footsteps sounded like boots to me.
Yeah.
They're heavy footsteps. We went back a second time. I wouldn't go in this house. We went back the second time. Finally, someone talked.
This
I
is
don't know
what
why.
you guys do, though. I mean, you should be running towards the
It's
footsteps.
something I'll never forget.
He ran towards the black shadow, ran right through it.
Again,
Which
that's
I
because-
still don't understand that
Again,
part.
that's
Todd
the
just
only
gonna
door.
get one of his underlings. Like, no, you go. You need the training.
Well, everyone went in the house. Like, oh, it's okay. It's not bad this time. So, like, I don't know. It must have took me like 4 hours finally to go back in the house. And we went up to the second floor where the footsteps are coming from.
So funny.
And him and I were in this bedroom off to the side, and there's a few people downstairs. And I said, if there's anything or anyone in this house, come in this bedroom and join us in this bedroom. And you can hear footsteps, boot steps coming down the hall right to the bedroom where we're at.
Again.
And I said, you gotta be fucking kidding
And it's
me.
like these heavy like footsteps too. We were
Same ones.
when we were in there.
Same
That
ones.
same boots.
One
Timberlands.
work boot,
Right.
one high heel. Cool.
Yeah.
It was
I
that's
don't
what I
think-
pictured, like boots.
I don't think we have the audio on our website, but it makes me laugh every time I hear it. The second time we're in that bedroom, and Todd's like, we had heard the footsteps out in like the hallway, and Todd says, I don't really want to say this right now, but if anyone's out there, can you give us another sign that you're here? And there's like a bathroom down the hallway, and there's like this whistle comes out of it. He's like, did you hear that, dude? And then like probably 30 seconds later, another whistle, and Todd's like, are you hearing this? and then a third one, and there's no one else in this house. A third whistle, and Todd's like, "What the fuck, dude?"
I said, I don't like this.
I don't like it.
I didn't want to go in there
It
to
makes me
begin
laugh
with.
every time
How
I
many
hear it.
times has Todd just been like, dude, we gotta get the fuck out of here right now?
Well, that's what was crazy about that. He wanted to go back in this house because usually, like, he doesn't want to do that. You know?
What kind of whistle was it?
Just real quick, like that. Just a.
Glad we got
Oh, you know you're definitely hearing that at some point tonight.
No, I'm not.
Actually, we could play the
You can play the K2. That's on our. The K2 flying off the couch is on our website. I don't think that one is though.
Yeah, if you can play the K2, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I can. Well, you got the Wi-Fi. Up.
Yeah.
If you just
Thanks,
go to
man.
the website,
Not sleeping in Jack's bed, that's for sure.
No, spare bedroom.
I think it's
Yeah, all
like,
my
I think it's
beds
like
like
the
that.
first audio
4 feet.
clip. I'm pretty sure.
do you have your laptops?
Yeah.
You can pull it off.
I think if you just go to
Or,
I think it's Detroit Paranormal Expeditions.com /Iron County, and that would probably pull it right up for you.
I see where you're going.
Planting seed.
Yeah.
take two. Take two. First one cut out.
Let's see here. Got the website up. Evidence.
Okay, so are you on the Iron County page?
Iron County Historical Museum.
Yep. And it should be like the first one, I think, probably top left.
K2 goes flying.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's do this here. Here's swing the microphone over here.
Ooh,
Oh,
You all
Sorry
right?
about that.
was that when it went flying?
Yep. No, that was.
that's just the microphone.
And here we go.
Wait, that green light go off? We're going near it?
This is where it starts. This is where it starts to shift. Your eyes won't focus. That's Lauren screaming. You hear that? You hear that thing like shoots up?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fall. Like it. Like,
That's crazy.
I wish we had that on video, but we didn't have that area. We were very. I think this is February of 17. We didn't have a lot of equipment yet, and we didn't have a lot of cameras.
And we didn't think that would happen, honestly.
It's so rare.
Right.
Yeah,
So, who did it hit?
Lauren.
Lauren from our team.
Did she have a mark or anything like that?
I don't think so.
No?
I think it was like at her feet. Like
Okay.
It hit her foot.
And the strange thing, it stayed at red, even in the air. I remember seeing that red, and that was kind of weird that that energy was like by that thing. It like felt like it was, I don't know.
So I mean, it being still in the red, that would basically mean that or show that it was that energy was still in possession of it, basically, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
that
was around it that much, and it went, like I said, like, what do you think, 8 feet maybe? 6 feet?
It's
there?
about 8 feet. Yeah, I mean, probably like from here to that corner of that couch. I
Yeah.
would think that thing shot off the couch and covered that much ground.
that's a far way to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Not just like it slid off onto the ground.
And
or
you can
something
have
like
that thing where it'll be like red right here, and then you can move it away or move it over here to turn green, and this was red in the air all the way over to Lauren. hit the
Which is
ground.
strange. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
This is some good evidence, though.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was.
So, Corey's sister wanted to know why was Eloise removed from Destinations Truth on YouTube?
Oh well, I don't. It wasn't uploaded to their official channels. If they didn't have an official channel, a lot of times what happens with TV shows is somebody will take the video file and they'll upload it themselves, and then there are copyright issues. And then whenever they figure out that it's been uploaded, they'll file a claim or report it to YouTube, who will then take it down, which is the case that happened here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You said that was Destination Fear she was asking about?
Truth.
No, Destination Fear. Okay. So I said we saw the Destination Fear.
Yeah.
Was that
That episode was up for a couple months, and then they flagged it and took it down. And I'm sure it will be available again, or it might be available now, but it's probably going to be like a few bucks or something to buy it.
Let's say we were actually able to watch it on Travel Channel Go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So and that's something I'll touch on a little bit later too.
Hey, Corey, I'm going to jump in here for a second.
Yes.
Guys, we normally do, we're like actually way overdue.
It sounds terrible.
But no, it's an all pacing thing. We're a professional show, Corey.
It's our own kind of
Yeah,
transfusion.
we have our own agenda normally. We normally do a shot, a fireball. What you got? Are you guys interested?
Sure.
John?
Sure.
Okay. You're going to pass these down.
Got some rather fitting shot glasses.
Two gentlemen.
Whoa. Make sure to pass
Jesus.
it over Corey's computer.
Yeah.
There you go, sir.
So, also somebody said, I think it was probably Keegan, again, she has a lot of questions. I actually got yelled at.
She was in Eloise.
Make a list!
Yeah.
Write these down! I'm like, I can tell she's a Selesky. So, she wants to know what's your favorite piece of equipment to use?
I mean, the spirit boxes are really cool.
What is
different. There's so many different types. So one that people use a lot of times is called the PSV7, which probably is my favorite thing, honestly. I mean, there's all kinds of cool, different like looking speakers you can use within stuff. But the gist of it is, the spirit box pretty much scans radio stations really quickly. So think about like 100 plus radio stations a minute. So you're only getting just like a fraction of a second on any one. And the sound you kind of hear is as it's going through each of these.
Uh-huh.
Well, so we'll ask questions, and sometimes what we'll get is like 2, 3, 4 words back in the same voice, like in response to something that we asked, or saying something relevant to what's happening like right now. And by the time that these several words have come through the spirit box because it's scanning so fast. You've already covered like 20, 30 radio stations, you know?
Wow.
It's kind of like over top of that. And some of the stuff that I've heard in response to questions via spirit boxes is just really mind-blowing. I'm like, who am I talking to here? This is not the radio, you know?
I mean, who would even think of that? I mean, to be able to put things together, like as a form of communication.
I think that's one of the things, even back in the 40s and 50s, when when the first paranormal investigators came out, that they thought radio frequencies, white noise, was the way that spirits can communicate. So I guess, and like I said, these guys are just people like us that have a little bit more brains than us to do handyman stuff, to make these equipment. I mean, there's no factories making these things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the SB7, the guy that basically fine-tuned that and came up with the idea, wasn't he trying to contact his daughter that had passed?
That was a millimeter.
The millimeter, that's right.
That's
right.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the Mel. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a driving force, I think, behind a lot of like the innovations and people sort of trying different ways to contact spirits. Is a lot of people just want to talk to their family members.
Makes sense.
All right, Schnozzcast audience, we're going to do a shot together, so if you've got something, pour for yourself, join us, please. Guys, thank you so much for
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us,
guys.
guys.
We appreciate it.
It's great.
Woo! So take a quick break from that. Your guys' aspect of stuff. We're gonna do one little segment that we normally do every episode, and it's called Danielle's Word Box.
God damn it. I thought I was out of that today.
Oh no. So we discovered, we were talking one day, and the word Smirnoff came up.
Wow.
And
that's not what it was supposed to.
well, and I say it like that now because I'm so used to it. But we were talking about Smirnoff, and Danielle decided that there was a storm front coming in.
Fuck you.
It was a little windy.
Little windy, and oh, that Smirnoff. And we all just kind of stopped and we're like, oh, what did you just say?
I hate you.
Yeah, she put a little too much wind behind it.
So we wrote a bunch of words that were all SCH words, and it makes handwriting that isn't the greatest. She had some trouble reading some of the words and figuring them out. So now, since we went through all those words, we have a new box with some new words, and Bob also decided to throw in some tongue twisters.
All right.
So we have Danielle pick a piece of paper, and she has to try to read the...
And I still keep coming back to this.
Need I remind you of your comments from only a couple of weeks ago saying, oh, this is too easy.
They were.
Yeah.
Were they?
I just don't. Did you add more?
Oh, yeah.
I hate you.
Oh, of course I am.
And sometimes it's just Danielle reading the word menagerie over and over.
That one was bad last time.
Over and over and over.
I don't want it.
I don't want.
I don't know if I want to pick which one I want.
There's no good option.
I know there's not.
Well, then I'm not sure what you're looking
You
for.
can't top last week's.
Menagerie.
Twister.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna screw this so bad.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Danielle's tongue twister is...
It's a long one. 3 Swedish witches watch 3 watch switches, witch Swedish switch witched.
Something about Swiss witches. I don't know.
Watches witch Swiss watch switch.
Wow.
Wow, Bob, you really...
That's creative.
went it down on that one.
I did.
I like that witch was in it.
I know, I was
You
like,
the
that's
best
kind of
part?
appropriate.
That's not even the hardest one in this box.
Cool.
Oh, fantastic.
Can't wait.
And that was Danielle's word box. Thank you for being a good sport, as always. You only butchered approximately 47% of it.
I know. It's a lot of swishes.
You know, when you're looking for tongue twisters, you want to look for the ones where all the words sound similar. That's the key.
Makes sense.
Guys, what is the craziest word or voice or thing that you heard on the spirit box?
What do you think?
There's been so many on the spirit box.
Yeah, you know, one of the most interesting things, I guess, that I've heard on the spirit box was actually years ago, and actually it was before DPX, but we were, like a child singing, like, and it was like, and it was,
No, keep going.
and it was like
I am
7 or
intrigued.
8 seconds long, and it was very creepy.
Can you sing the song right now?
I can.
You know the song?
Please.
Oh, I remember it.
Oh.
I remember it. So this was a residential case. This is years ago, and probably 2013 maybe, and this family was reporting that they see 3 entities there. They see a guy in like a black like sweater with 2 kids, and through the spirit box while we're investigating, we asked how many entities are here, and this kid's voice, sound like a young boy, says mostly 3. Why mostly 3? I don't know. Maybe it changes. But then later, this same kid's voice comes through, and it was so creepy. He said, "It's my birthday. We're moving away." And he says, "Let's just stay here. Let's just stay here." It's so creepy, and it was like
that gave me the chills. You just even saying it.
Yeah, it is. If I had the audio, I'd play it for you, but now I have to think about it.
So
I can't live here anymore.
So have you looked up if that was like some old timey song that it was an actual song?
Not that I was able to find. This was an old farmhouse. Who knows, like, what era these people lived there, live in the property, or what, But yeah, it's my birthday. We're moving away. Let's just stay here.
It didn't seem like back then we did a lot of research on the.
I don't really especially care for that song.
Which is why I wanted to.
It wasn't the
That was
delivery
amazing.
either, Jeff.
But our best EVP without a spirit box was at Beaver Island, Beaver Island Lighthouse of Beaver Island.
Oh man, that EVP.
You can play that too.
So
if you want.
creepy.
Yeah,
that's
that's probably our best one I think ever.
That for sure I think is our best EVP to date. I think if you're looking at our website, it's probably on the evidence page, or if you go to our homepage, our social links are at the top. One of them is SoundCloud, and it's the first EVP on SoundCloud. But this one is next to Iron County, I think probably the most haunted place that we've ever been to, and we want to go back this summer. We're planning on it. But
where was it on Beaver Island? I mean, what was it? Like,
so if anyone's not familiar with Beaver Island, because I'm born and raised here and I'd never even heard of it until we started looking this place up. It's like 30 miles off the coast of Charlevoix. Right. It's like a 2-hour boat ride to get there. And we went there to investigate a different building, and not a lot happened. And the people on the island said, you got to check out the South Lighthouse. So we did, and it's like 20 minutes down this like dark, like dirt, remote road. And we pull up, and the first thing, we have a psychic with us. The first thing this lady with us says is that she saw a woman on the porch. The woman's pointing towards the road saying, "Go, you need to leave, get out." And she said that she didn't sound angry, but like she was trying to protect us from something darker in this lighthouse. So of course we stayed anyway. And
As one does.
the house, right?
of course.
The house itself was all locked up, but there's like the lightkeeper's house, this little shack, and then the light tower, and it's all connected. So they leave the shack and the light tower open 24/7 for visitors. So we went in there and just took 20 minutes of audio, and you can tell them sort of what happened.
We heard behind it's like a breezeway, I guess. It's a shack, but it's a breezeway connects the lighthouse to the actual house where the lighthouse keeper and his family would live. And we could hear stuff on the other side of the door, like shuffling and moving. And
Yeah.
So I said, Jeff's jiggling the door handle. I said, what if the door just opened or something like that?
I said, "You can't shake this door handle for me like this." And then Todd jokes and says, "What if you did that? The door just opened." And it was just the two of us in this room. And then there's this exorcist-like voice that we didn't hear until, like, we heard nothing. Silence
Nothing
for
at
a
all.
moment. And then we get back to camp. We're staying in this cabin on the island, and I look over over by my side, and I look over, and Todd throws the headphones off of his head because his audio is so freaky.
Because I usually don't listen to I don't even listen to audio when we do. I wait till we go over it like
Afterwards?
download it. Yeah,
Sure.
I had the digital recorder.
There was only 20 minutes
Plugged
audio.
my headphones in and was listening on the way back. We stayed at Central Michigan as a biological campus there, and they let us stay at their place.
Mm-hmm.
So we had like a 20-minute, I guess, car ride back to the camp, and then back to our cabin. And I sit on the bed and I'm listening to it, and I heard that and I threw him off. I'm like, what the fuck did I just hear? So I put it back on and listened to it again because I just thought it was like a glitch. Or did someone really say that? And when you hear it, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I was so freaked out that like I didn't even want to keep listening to it to clip the audio, but I had to. So I don't know if you guys,
Which one? So
it says shipwreck. I told you to go. Yeah.
Do you want the mic?
Yeah, I'll swing that over.
Oh,
I'll hold it this time, make sure it doesn't slide out.
Nick, did you want to say something? Sorry. Yeah, there's no quiet way to do that, but you're doing a good job trying.
Thank you.
even the moving of the microphones.
Starting before me like this. Can you do that? If you did that, the door is so
Right here.
Holy shit.
Nope.
There was nobody else in the room.
Hey, hang
except Todd
on.
and me.
We gotta
Yeah, I
go.
gotta replay. Can you replay that?
Yeah.
Was it? I told.
shake this door handle for me like this? Can you do that? If you did that, the door just opened, it wasn't locked anymore.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's
I hear
absolutely-
shipwreck. I told you get out. Some people say shipwreck.
I hear I
heard you
told you to go. Yeah.
But we didn't hear that. We just
It's totally,
That's
totally
what I just-
I was
silent.
gonna, that's insanely loud into
Yeah.
the
it's louder than
recording.
our
It's
voices.
not subtle.
Right.
Not subtle
Yeah,
at all.
there's nothing subtle about that. Yeah, I heard something along the lines of I told you to get out or something like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of coincides with
woman?
the lady that was a psychic telling us that the lady was on the porch telling us to go. You guys got to go.
And you always hear about like lighthouses being haunted. There's a lot of like haunted lighthouses, and anyone could guess. There's lots of reasons, I guess, why. But my own personal theory is, and this one for sure, has got limestone in its construction. Limestone's known to withhold energy. There's a theory called stone tape theory that like limestone holds that in. But it's also right there on the coast, so you've got like the tide coming in and out, so that's generating like hydroelectric power type.
Uh-huh.
You know, so there's an energy source. There's something that withholds energy. So if an entity is there, there's no shortage of energy for it to manifest.
Wow.
Makes sense.
And no one probably has went there ever to do like a paranormal, kind of what we're doing.
Untouched,
You know,
yeah.
So we're actually going back there and going to stay the night, hopefully, in the lighthouse. It's never been
Oh
investigated.
my god, that'd be so
Inside
cool.
the house part, we're getting access to the house part.
Have you heard about the movie The Lighthouse?
I have. I haven't
saw
seen
the
it.
previews for
but I've
that.
heard.
I feel like before you go, I would want you guys to watch that.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it's supposed to be also equally creepy and just sort of a shining sort of a scenario.
Okay.
So,
Is
it's not that
there,
I want you guys to kill yourself in the lighthouse or each other, but I think it would be a fantastic prelude to what probably is going to take place that night.
Right.
is there a place that any of the listeners or the viewers can go to listen to that clip? You guys have that?
Yeah, so if you want to just go to our website, DetroitParanormalExpeditions.com, we've got a tab there with evidence on our website from a few different places if you want to listen to that. But probably the easiest way to find that clip is right there at the top. There's a link to our SoundCloud page. All of our social links are there. It's the very first one. You can't miss it.
What is it called?
Shipwreck, I told you to go.
Yeah, I don't like it.
There's actually like a kind of a part 2 to that story that happened to Jeff.
Yeah, so about 3 months after that happened, in I guess fall of, when was that, 18? 17 or 18, something like that. There was a little bar restaurant downtown that did not last very long. It was called the Huron Room. It was over in Mexican Village. It lasted about 2-3 years. But the restrooms were one-person ones. And so I walked into one of them, and there was like a painting of Michigan on the wall. And around the coast of Michigan were these smaller paintings of lighthouses. And I looked at Beaver Island, and sure enough, that lighthouse was painted on it. And I was kind of just thinking out loud. I kind of like muttered under my breath to myself. I said, "Shipwreck, I told you to go." Like just thinking out loud. And about 5 seconds later, the bathroom went dark. And I thought the building lost power, the light burned out, and then I reached back for the wall, and the switch was down, which I had just turned on. It's like a brand new like restaurant. It's not a flimsy broken switch. I mean, everything's like new in this place. And as soon as I felt that switch being down, I just got the sensation that somebody was like right here, like right next to my face. And I
In
seriously,
a one-person bathroom, that's where you want that feeling.
Yeah.
I seriously, like, I had that attachment for like 10 months. I know what having an attachment feels like. I don't think that I had something attached to me from the lighthouse, but I do think that in like a metaphysical way, I like summoned this.
Kind of
thing.
trigger something.
Yeah.
And it's again warning us,
Like,
stay away.
Don't come here.
Yeah, and we're going to do it anyway.
Todd,
And you're gonna stay the night there.
Todd, do you ever feel with all these stories that maybe Jeff's the problem?
In what sense?
I don't know. We attract weird things happen.
Do you have a psychic on staff?
We work with a few different ones.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
on call.
Yeah, different cases. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you? I know that you must have a supporting cast of characters. So when you go out to a place to investigate, or you plan a road trip, let's say it's going to be like a 10-hour drive up to the UP to Iron County. Thank you. Who are the folks that you're going to go, okay, we need this person, we need that person, we need that person, they're going to handle this, they're going to handle that. Do you have a crew you want to give a shout out to here?
Absolutely, yeah. Our team's hugely helpful. Chris on our team is definitely helps with logistics. Jenny and Teresa they've actually got abilities themselves. Matt McCoy and Lauren are two of our original team members, so they can help with anything from finding places to stay or even just things like looking up somewhere to go eat, which is helpful too.
It's like it has to be planned out 'cause we get a lot of trips coming up out of state this year. So
My photographer Phil, shout out to him too.
Jeff
taking a
Fenn
lot of
builds
great
our spirit
photos.
boxes.
Yeah.
He's out of Columbus, Ohio. So
Yeah, I did the bare minimal amount of research on you guys, but one of them was watching the Travel Channel thing that you guys were on the other night at 9 o'clock. And I can see that there's a larger cast of characters who are helping you out. So obviously they can all be here, but good for the listeners to know the different roles they play. And
we have people that
it's
have
a
helped
big
us out: Russ Robinson, Ace Taylor.
Yeah, and it's cool because everybody that is a part of our group, is passionate about this stuff, but also kind of has their own things going on too. So like Chris, for instance, he is like an illusionist. He does things like put himself through a tennis racket and like all kinds of escape straitjackets, stuff like that.
He's the one with the mustache?
Yes,
Okay.
he's like a performer. So it's
Corey,
pretty.
did you do this because he twirls his mustache?
Excuse me. Well, he has the waxed
He
Handlebar.
does that. He
Yeah.
can twirl his mustache.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool just like having people that have other passions too and have their own projects going on.
Right.
And you can see some crossover there.
Awesome.
So what was another question? What was like the best photo with the most clarity of something that you guys captured?
I actually emailed, if you want, it's right in that email, and this is not long ago. This was, this is probably 3 months ago, I think. Really cool photo. It was actually captured.
Holy Jesus!
Actually
Okay.
captured at.
Sounds like Nick's gonna love this.
Yes, he will.
It was captured at the former Naval Air Station Grozeal. And what's cool about this is, we do public events where people can come out with us. And a friend of ours, Bill Miller, who we've become really good friends with just through a shared interest in this, he comes to our events. Well, we had 2 events in one weekend. We had one at the former Detroit Police 6th Precinct building, and Bill came out and had an absolute blast, and he and his wife wanted to come out to the next one, which was the following night at the air station. So he came out and he took about 30 or 40 photos, and then after the event, uploads all of them in a Facebook post and just said, hey, I had a really fun time with DPX, the event was awesome. So I'm looking through, the pictures and stuff, and I reached out to him to ask if I could share his post on our page, just to say thanks for coming out. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking through all these photos, and I see this photo with this kind of black, like, shadow in the middle of it. And I comment, and his comments are still on the post. I comment, and I said, I got really excited until I realized that was a person, and then I'm going through the photos, and the next one, because the first one with the shadow was no flash. The next one was the room with flash, and that shadow is not there. Okay. But I noticed that in the back of the room are like these white tablecloths that were sitting on a table. So I went back to the original photo, and I realized that you can actually see these tablecloths through this shadow. So I took the photo, and I played with like the contrast and the brightness, and just to sort of see what's there, and when you play with the levels, and when you adjust the levels, it's very, very creepy. It looks like a woman, and you can see like hips and
a dress even. It looks like.
So Corey, do me a favor and send it to my phone, and I will, while everyone's talking, I'll upload it to the Schnozzcast page if that's okay. So
absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and if you want, you can even include the other ones too. There's people who kind of sort of see. There's 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, there's the 3. I can see the one that you played with the lighting on.
Yeah.
The original, the photo that you said was taken after with the flash.
Yeah.
And then the one with the apparition.
And he was taking a picture of that room because he thought those colored windows on the right side looked pretty cool. So, when I saw it, I was just like blown away by that. And that's also worth noting. So the guy who owns that gym, like that's what he's reported there a lot, is what's called shadow figures. So these black kind of translucent figures, he's seen them on that floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those are some really good pictures too.
It's an amazing photo.
And then I see the other ones are from.
The other ones are from Eloise.
I recognize the one from the basement.
Yeah.
I've seen that one on you guys' social media. But this one I've not seen.
Is that with like the wood paneling kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another shadow figure, just like the one that we were just talking about that Bill took. That was captured by Faith Gerns, who would come out with us to investigate, and the hallway was empty, She took this picture, and that's another one. I didn't include the enhanced version of that, but I played with the lighting of that one too to see if I could make out like any features of it being a person, if I could debunk it, and I couldn't. It's just this black kind of translucent figure, and it's you probably can't tell there, but if you zoom in on it, look really closely, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can definitely see it on the phone. At the end of the hall is a window, and it's got the windowsill in the bottom, and you can actually see the lower left corner of this windowsill through this figure.
Oh, wonderful. As I was hoping you would say.
Yeah.
Translucent shadow figures is what I was hoping to see tonight.
Please tell me it's even more terrifying than I imagined.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Oh.
So.
Oh yeah, I can see what you're talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about? The lower left corner of it?
Mhm.
It's like darker right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's actually really cool to see because that one I have not seen yet on any of your guys' social media. So that's
We tried debunking it, and there's nothing that made me think that that was a person.
So is there like for DPX, is there a fan group or a page where the general public can somehow get involved or come to an event that you guys might have and at least be outside while you're doing it or something like that?
Yeah. You want to tell them about like our events and?
I mean, we do a lot of public events. Last year especially. I think this year we're gonna do not as many. We want to get back to
We'll
basically.
still do some.
Yeah, we're doing.
I was gonna say.
We'll still do some.
Well, and as I know Todd knows, but I don't know if Keegan, my sister Danielle, and not my sister, but my sister Keegan, Danielle, and I.
Gross.
Right. We attended one of the LOE's walkthroughs.
Oh, cool.
And then we also did the Michigan Firehouse Museum.
Oh, awesome.
So you guys did an excellent job, and I mean the LOE's was absolutely insane.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Oh, I mean we could have stayed there all night and just been thrilled. You guys, like I said, did an excellent work with that. There's some stuff I want to touch on that in a little bit too. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you guys are doing tours,
We're gonna do the Pilot House February 22nd.
We're gonna be announcing that soon. We haven't posted anything on it yet, but yeah, we're gonna go back to Pilot House.
Sixth Precinct. Pictures probably do another one here.
Are you guys gonna do another 6th precinct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to go to that.
The 6 is pretty cool.
Yeah, because why there was some reason something came up that we couldn't go because I was literally about to buy the tickets for us to go.
It didn't work.
Yeah, that's right. Something got switched around at work, and we couldn't end up going. Which that was another one I really wanted to go to.
I mean, we want to do. We're gonna do not as many because we got so, I guess, tied up. We got away from what we
sort of
started. To
yeah.
do
I mean, we sort
paranormal
of
stuff for it.
Back to your roots.
yeah, and like a lot of the stuff that the audio files that we were just playing and stuff like that. I mean, those were from like more sort of like focused actual investigations where we didn't focus so much on like live streaming or like doing it in a public sense, but more like actually closely reviewing everything. And we want to do a little more of that because we got like so event and so live stream focused last year that we weren't like really sort of reviewing to get like evidence.
Well, and as cool as the walkthrough was, yeah, you could tell that obviously if you guys were in there trying to actually investigate, there was really no way to do that.
Yeah.
With that that amount of people going through there.
People do have experiences and stuff, but I mean, like when you have like 15, 20 people, like it's really difficult to get compelling audio evidence that you can't debunk.
Right.
A lot of times, for a real investigation, we might just sit in a dark room for like 2 hours just taking audio, which is not conducive for a public event. You know what I mean?
And the public events, we try to mingle with people too and explain things, but people have got a lot of evidence on the tours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. When we were at the LOE's tour, I can't even remember what floor we were on.
I think we're on the 3rd.
Was it the 3rd?
I think so.
And so like it seemed like most of the group would kind of all gravitate with each other. So as long as you kind of paid attention to that, you could kind of just go off the opposite way.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that on the 3rd floor.
That's
and
cool.
we were walking down one of the hallways, and we went into it was like a little kitchenette or something.
Oh,
And-
nurses area. Yeah.
And one of the doors was off, but it was still in the room, like off to the
I know
side.
what you're talking about.
So when I walked in, I had my flashlight, and I looked at the one doorway, and then there was like little cubbies on the one side. I looked at the cubbies, and then I went into the room, and I kept my flashlight forward, and there was like a little kitchenette. But I looked to the right, and the door was like on the wall, tilted, propped up.
Right.
and I swore there was someone probably crouched down in the corner.
Because he jumped and scared me, and I was
And
behind him.
I mean, I felt my heart rate go through the roof, and I had my Apple Watch on.
Did he jump
And
though?
immediately,
He did.
my watch was like, "Yo, your heart rate is way too high." And I told him, I was like, "Oh, I'm like, oh
No,
my
he did
god."
pretty good.
So it was quite intense. And so I, having even a little experience like that, it was fun.
I mean, Eloise has always been I had my first paranormal experience at Eloise, and it was kind of like everyone in Michigan wanted to get in there as a paranormal investigator. We were lucky enough to be the first team ever in there in 2018. But we've taken 12,000 people through Eloise.
At least.
Seriously?
If not
Yeah.
more. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So it's to the point where we still want to do those because we want to get back to people and have them, experience stuff we experienced. But we want to get back to our roots, like you were saying, and do an actual investigation, capture evidence again, and travel more.
And like for the event, I mean, we do want to go back to the 6 and the pilot house and stuff. But also, I mean, like going forward, if we do offer events, I'd love to see if we can't find like some even brand new locations that we haven't been to, so
Right.
people can kind of get different flavors with what we're doing. So.
Would you guys ever consider, have you done like some kind of fundraising raffle to pick one lucky person to come with you guys, like on an intimate investigation kind of
We've
thing?
done that
We've done
actually.
that a few times,
Yeah, we have a few times
For charities and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Are we talking about the ones where you're sitting in the dark room for 2
Yeah,
hours?
like a real
Maybe we.
Yeah, I don't know if I consider that winning though.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you guys want to donate to the Corey Selesky charity,
I'll be outside.
We'll probably have a couple of those this year. We did a couple last year, I think,
Yeah.
for the 6th Precinct and Eloise. We're actually going to go to Sweet Spring Sanitarium, which was on Destination Fear also. It's in West
Yeah,
Virginia.
we're super psyched about that one, and that's going to be a public event. So if anybody's up for a road trip, that place has got its reputation precedes it. I mean, it's well known to be a very haunted location. Super interesting history. So that's one you don't want to miss, and that's going to be in May.
May 30th.
Now, do you guys ever go to Canada?
I think Todd's been.
Yeah, but I'm not really. We tried to go over to the Bablo Island because it's supposed to be haunted, but we couldn't get in. Went over.
Okay.
That was years ago.
My aunt, feels like she has some slightly, empath tendencies and things like that, can sense things, and different psychics have told her things. But she said, I remember we were very young, and we spent the night at Beaver Island in a house, and she's like, oh my God, Beaver Island. She's like, tell those guys, she's like, I didn't feel right the entire time I was there.
Oh, it's just got
it just
a
has a
lot
weird
of
feeling.
strange energy there. I mean,
A lot of things happen there.
you know, like
historically.
the history of it. and
No.
all-
She
Oh, it's
said
got
there's some big headstone that says King something.
strength. Yeah,
Who is that?
It's a bizarre history.
We're still finding out more.
In the mid 1800s, Beaver Island was a Mormon settlement. There was a guy named James Strang who broke off from Brigham Young and made his own little sect of like Mormonism on this island, and he had about 1,000 followers living on this island. Well, he was a really awful person and was like taking people's wives and was just like doing terrible things. So 2 people from his followers actually ended up assassinating him in 1856. Shortly thereafter, Irish fishermen came in, put the Mormons on boats, sent them packing in different directions, and burned almost everything on the island except for this old newspaper print shop, which is where we went to investigate.
Okay.
And I think that was literally it. And you can still see like some of these old burned out like cabins and destroyed.
Yeah, they're still set like built off back in the woods. You can
Really?
still see
Yeah.
the burned out cabins. Yeah.
So were any lives lost during that, or they put them on the boat before that happened?
Who knows? I mean, I would venture to say probably.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was so hated actually that the 2 people that killed him, when they got back to Charlevoix, they were like paraded through town. They basically Charlevoix had a huge party. Nobody was ever charged with anything for killing him.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
And it was
crazy.
Sing?
Strange.
He's the only recognized king in the United States.
James Strange.
Oh, he was a king.
He
named himself
king
king.
He
of-
named himself king of the
King
Beaver Island
String.
or whatever.
Yeah.
King String. So that's the headstone on Beaver Island.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Actually, you know what?
For
I'm not sure if the headstone is him or Protar, because Protar, I bet it was Protar.
That's another thing for
He was so he was kind of like this sort of medicine man. I mean, he wasn't like a doctor by trade, but he treated people for like things more minor things, broken leg or ankle or whatever. But he was like a very beloved figure on Beaver Island, and I think that
There's
the
a
statue,
tomb there.
the statue, or the little stone you're referring to, is probably for him and not String, actually.
Okay.
The House of David had a settlement there. We found out. There's also a place we went to that's actually a monk's retreat.
Yeah.
That,
It's
this
got
island has so much stuff.
super creepy.
Yeah.
Feel. Yeah, it feels creepy there.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on orbs?
I think there are legitimate ones out there, but I think
The 1% out of the 90%.
yeah, most of them can be debunked. You know, I mean,
It's
you gotta
dust,
sort of
bugs.
look at like what it does. I mean, if you've got video and this thing comes through a doorway, goes in the middle of the room, stops, and then goes back the direction that it went, like, okay, that's something to think about. But dust a lot of times and bugs, small, tiny particles that you just can't see with your naked eye, when the infrared hits it, it makes it look like
It's almost
that.
like a mirror.
Yeah.
And it'll light up and it looks like they're...
So, and I saw these pictures, I don't have them, but my godfather passed away, and it was very sudden. It was like, he's going for some minor surgery, and a couple days later he was gone. So I remember that he was in the hospital, and he had the surgery, and he was out of it. And they had to take out all his intestines and all this crazy stuff had happened. And so they pretty much said, like, kind of say your goodbyes kind of thing like that. He's not coming out of this, you know, he's medically induced into this state. So his son, who was probably in his 20s, spent the night in his room. And he was sleeping on like a little hospital chair, and he woke up to this bright light. And he said, zipping around by the TV was brighter than that. This thing just doing figure eights. And he's got two pictures of it. And one, it's got a tail on it, it's going this way, and another one's got a tail on it going this way. And the next day, he woke up. He was like, hey guys. Talked to everyone, shook hands, said his goodbyes, told my dad, you know, go Tigers. They always went to Tigers games, and then he was gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, something like that, I definitely think probably was supernatural in nature. I mean, I'm just talking about like, you know, cell phone pictures and stuff. People think they capture orbs a lot, but in those instances, a lot of times I think it can be debunked. But an experience like that, where this person actually saw it in the moment,
Took pictures.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
different.
and the next day, all of a sudden, he's out of it
Yep.
for one day and then gone.
Yeah,
You know.
that's different.
And my aunt also, so I think this is probably what you guys are talking about in regards to like dust, maybe. I don't know. She had a psychic tell her one time, she loves cats. She had a psychic tell her one time that, you know, cats protect her, and they're, you know, the ghosts of cats are around her and stuff, and something to do with her basement, you know. And I remember we had like the Call of Duty that came with the game, like the night vision, you know, and she wanted to use it in a place that was dark, and she went in the basement. She's like, oh my God. She's like, you know, go down there and look. And it was like a snowstorm. It was just shit. I mean, white orbs flying everywhere. And it was the weirdest thing in the world, and I couldn't imagine it was dust. You know, we came upstairs, didn't see that. But as soon as you went in the basement, I mean, it was like you couldn't even see anything else. It was just darting across. It was almost like they had momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she always thought that was something, you know, but...
Could be.
No, it really
Very
could
possibly.
be. Every case is kind of different from each other. We get a lot of pictures, like at abandoned buildings. You know, dust. Always too. People.
Oh, I could imagine. I mean, yeah.
There's dust everywhere. You can see it with your own eyes sometimes.
Right.
Those are, I don't really know, but if it's tied to something, an event, or a feeling someone has, that's a different story.
Right. Yeah, this was odd. I saw it too. It was really strange because it wasn't just stuff floating. You know, it was, I mean, darting. You know, everywhere.
Plus the feelings. I think everyone, you know, talks about being an empath or sensitive or having abilities. I think everyone has that naturally built in them.
Whoa!
There it goes.
I told you, didn't I?
You did.
I'm like, I'm gonna do that at least once or twice more.
But it's just like if you're in a crowd and you have
Did you think it was a ghost?
the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, or you get that feeling there's danger around you.
Right.
It's the same thing with the paranormal. I think our senses are heightened because we've done this so much, hundreds and hundreds of investigations. You kind of prepare yourself to that. You know, I'm not an empath or a psychic, but I can sense when something like Beaver Island or Iron County, when it feels negative or feels bad. You just get that feeling Iron County is like a fight or flight feeling for me. I wanted to stay so bad, my body made me leave. You know, but I think like that with your aunt.
Yep.
She can sense that stuff. You know,
Yep.
it's around her all the time. You start to get open. You open yourself. Once you
You're
open
more in
yourself
tune
up
with
to it,
it.
yeah, you're in tune with it.
She's very, you know, it's not to the extent like she does readings or anything like that, but she's very open to it. And I think one of the times that she said that made her kind of realize that it was something real, she said she, they used to have Dobermans, and they love their dogs and their cats and everything. And she woke up in the middle of the night because she felt the dog had passed away, and she felt like something on the bed. And she looked and could see, this silhouette of the dog on the bed,
Wow.
That ended up disappearing. Everyone thought she was nuts, so.
No, I mean, I guess some people, if they can sense stuff like that,
Right.
who's to say about them, really?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
animal
we
spirits
don't,
will stick around too.
we don't ever say that's crazy or that never happened, because we've had
Yeah.
shit happen to us that I
Well,
can't
clearly,
explain.
Yeah.
Corey, did you send it to my phone, by the way?
I sent your email.
Oh, okay.
So, what time are we at here?
I got 1:15 of the audio.
So, you guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
And then come back and see if I can fix some of the technical issues, and then come back and do a little bit more. And
Sounds good.
we don't want to hold you guys up either. I mean,
I'm not doing
it's
anything.
10 o'clock right now.
Todd, do you have past your bedtime?
I got Jack's now.
That's true.
So yeah, we take a little break, come back, do a little bit more, and then wrap things up from there.
Okay, that's
All
good.
right, sounds good.
Let's for the folks out there in Podbean and Facebook Live, you want to tell them 10 minutes we'll be back?
Ooh, excuse me. Yes.
Will that be good?
Yeah. Let's do 15.
Okay.
15 minutes. We'll be back.
Do you run the Facebook? Do you stop it and start over?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be back in 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
So, Jeff, the shadow figure pictures,
Right? Of course.
And we're back.
We are back.
Welcome back. Part 2, second half of this glorious interview with Jeff Atkins and Tom Hunter. Corey, I'm going to do, before we go in, is there any other segments we want to do? We're going to say that for a little later.
We can do one in a little bit.
Okay. I'll let you drive it.
All right. So got a little off the outline here, but no problem. It's all good content, and
That's how you get them to come back, Corey. We didn't even get through half of the stuff. You're going to do that.
we honestly we could be here for hours and hours with
We
you
love
guys.
talking
'Cause
about this stuff.
we can tell you guys are awesome guests. Thank you very much again.
We appreciate that.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And I mean, hopefully this boosts your guys' business as well as it helps us out. So thank you again.
Yeah, let's be clear about who's back is being scratched.
hold on.
We're not helping that.
Let's
They're
really
not
hope
with us.
that
We're
this
just
is
here to have
really
fun.
this is a real boon for you guys. That's coming into my basement.
Yeah,
of
the
Schnozzcast.
tens of listeners are really thrilled that this is a brand new world.
They've really seen an influx after the Schnozzcast.
So
Corey, nobody's
speaking along those lines, though, how we've been looking forward to this for quite some time, and we finally got to today nailed down. As far as the the appearances that your guys' group has had, for television, you guys did Haunted Case Files, Paranormal Survivor, Paranormal 911, Destination Fear. How does that work? Do they reach out to you guys and then say, hey, we know of your group, we like on the show? How does that go?
We've been very, very lucky the last year probably.
Yeah.
We've probably had at least, and we were with a production company recently. We were working on our own show, but we've probably had at least 20, 25 production companies reach out to us. They reach out to us for these shows.
And the more that I think that we just keep sort of doing our own thing and kind of just having fun with it, people are receptive to it, and we work with these production companies and have these appearances, and they have a good experience working with us, so they'll reach back out, or other companies will reach out to us because they saw us on one different show.
Okay.
So it's kind of like snowballed a little bit, but we just always try to just keep having fun with it and be creative in the ways that we're engaging people that follow us, and just making a good experience for everyone. It's really worked out well.
Excellent. So you did make mention of your own show in there. Is that something on the horizon that is a possibility?
Yeah, we're working on actually a new thing now.
I mean, and again, too, if there's stuff that you don't want to give away, obviously,
I can talk a little bit about it. We got a pretty cool cast, I think, with people on this one.
Probably can't get too specific with this kind of thing.
Absolutely fine.
I can't really talk about like what the show's
Guys
about.
know what
Right.
he's listening.
Yeah, there's not anybody that's going to be
It's
able
fine.
to. No one's-
Lost into the mist of time.
But we have
everything on the internet lives forever.
Shanna Mokler.
That is true.
She's former Miss USA. Jeff, myself, Josh Mallerman, who wrote the Bird Box. He's part of the cast. His girlfriend Alice Blako.
Bird Box, you might have seen it on Netflix. It's Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
It was a tiny deal.
Yes. Yeah, everybody started.
But what's the
blindfolding it.
former Miss USA connection?
She's in the paranormal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was married to Travis Barker. She was on a TV show called Meet the Barkers.
A lot of
back in
these
the day.
people.
Oh, okay.
Did she reach out to you?
We've actually made connections with people doing this.
Really through social media, really. Josh was, I think, through social media. Bridget Marquardt from was it the
Girls Next Door.
Next
Oh, yeah.
Door. She came out to Eloise along with Josh a few months back, which was really cool to meet them.
And the precincts,
Stuff like
the
that.
precincts.
Yeah. So that's the power of social media. You get connected with people that otherwise you wouldn't.
Right.
Wow. So you're saying we have a chance as a podcast?
Absolutely.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
No,
I
like
want to stop short of saying that.
I talk to Jeff about this all the time. We're nobody. I mean, like I said, we started in my basement 3 years ago. So and
I just
think
deeply
we do
remember that
things
day.
the right thing, the right way, and have fun with it. And I think people relate to us.
I remember picking our name. I remember picking our logo. I remember the first night that DPX was launched when Todd and I sat in your living room. We invited all of our friends to like the page on Facebook, and that was just the beginning of it. So I mean, you got to start somewhere. You just keep growing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at you guys. You started in a basement, now you're in my basement.
Something about
It's
basements, I'm telling you.
pretty exciting.
Why would you just shit all over their hopes and
Very exciting
aspirations?
as far as I'm concerned.
But I can definitely, it gives me hope to see two local boys make good, trying to pass off. Hopefully some of your magic will rub off on what we got going on.
But I will say it's a lot of hard work.
It is a lot of hard
Well,
work.
we're out.
It's a lot of hard
Forget it,
work.
fellas.
It's a lot of hard work, and I will say, I'll say two things. I think for one, you want to just always just keep like finding different fun type things to do to kind of sort of give yourself like a niche and make yourself stand out from the crowd. Is one thing, but for two, like networking is huge. I mean, my background and my career is in public relations. Like, network is a really big thing for me, and I tell people all the time, Todd's better at it than I am, and I have a bachelor's degree. And he reached out to people, or they reach out to us, and networking is just a huge part of it.
And that's how we first started. I said, let's just hit the social media and do as many podcasts. No one knew who we were at that point.
Right.
I mean, so I reached out to thousands of people probably.
Yeah, a lot of
So
people.
they said yes, and that's how we just kept going and going and going. So I wanted to get us out there, and I wanted us to have these opportunities that we're having now, where people actually invite us to places
Right.
that we would never get into if we were anybody. You know what I mean? We're not. I don't think we're anybody now. I don't mean it that way, but it's like we've established ourselves. We've been in a lot of places. We have the credentials now that we didn't have when we first started. And I hit so many places, and I still do. I messaged the Winchester Mystery House to try and set up an investigation there.
That'd be sweet.
San
That'd be real
Jose.
sweet. Yeah, that'd be cool. Hopefully we can work
I'm gonna work on Graceland. You know, go for big places. That,
Right, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Todd does not lack ambition, which I think is.
How about what is it where that memorial is down in Monroe, the field?
Oh yeah, that's you're
Just
talking
down by
about-
there.
Yeah, I live out in Rockwood, so I'm not far from there. But I've been there to visit it. I don't know about investigating. There are roads right there, so obviously there's road noise contamination and stuff like that. But who knows? I mean, down the road, anything's possible.
I tried Greenfield Village and they told us no.
Yeah.
Fox Theater, the Illiches, I talked to Marion Illich, she said no.
Wow. Okay.
How about like Gettysburg?
Just been to Gettysburg, I had.
I've been to Gettysburg. Yeah, I mean, we did do some investigating in like buildings sort of in that area. You can go on the battlefield and take a digital voice recorder with you, you know, if you want to, but they don't let anyone on the battlefield after dark. They do patrol it, they watch out, so you gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. So I didn't get to do much on like the battlefield itself other than walking.
Why do you think that would be? That's okay during the day, but not at night.
Because they don't want people trying to like dig up artifacts,
Oh, right.
and you know it's
Destroying
national
things.
military park. I think that's the right verbiage, but yeah.
So they, I think that was that spot, that field in Monroe. I read it before. Was I think the bloodiest battle in Michigan.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they said basically a short rundown of it was that the British were here. And
It's a river raisin.
Yep, the Battle of River Raisin. Yeah, it was. And the British were here, and then they were going to attack us, and they completely outnumbered us. But either was it? Yeah, I think we teamed up with the Native Americans,
Mhm.
and that's why like they have like out in Romulus, they have like the Kentuckians in Michigan, which I never understood. That didn't make any sense to me. That what does that mean? And when I looked it up, it was during that time they rallied like militias and things from
Yeah.
Kentucky and brought them up. And then when they came for the battle, they were completely outnumbered. And a lot of those folks stayed, in Michigan, Monroe area, and stuff like that. So, but I know there were other people on some of the sites I read that said, they saw, apparitions, period clothing, walking across the field and things like that.
Yeah. Well, that battlefield possibly as well, but I've heard that about Gettysburg. People that visit Gettysburg will, do a little kind of lap around the battlefield, like the tour type thing. And they'll come back and tell the people, oh, it was so cool to see the reenactors out there. They said there were no reenactors out there today. People have reported seeing like entire units like walk across a field when nobody was
That'd be insane.
out there.
No, I
Yeah.
don't like that.
I got goosebumps.
You said Gettysburg, and the first thing I thought of, Arlington National Cemetery. Don't know why. But because I assume
That's
it
not
would
the
be-
same place.
No, I understand that, but I assume it would be impossible to do something like that there.
Yeah.
It's out of respect at Arlington, I think, out of respect for
Yeah, I was just saying,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really think that's a place you go actually investigate it and just let that be.
We stayed at a haunted bed and breakfast up north somewhere. It was about 4 hours north, which was not my idea. And like the woman that owned the place was a psychic, and she's reporting, that this ghost named Joseph like hides her keys and moves things around. She's come downstairs and seen a dog walk in a circle, and it disappeared from its nose to its tail. And a lot of crazy stuff. And he's actually buried. There's a cemetery a mile down the road where you can actually see where he's buried, and that place was absolutely creepy. I didn't open my eyes once at nighttime. I'm like, if I hear something,
Normally you sleep with your eyes open?
I was typically,
Okay.
but I was like, if I heard anything, I was under the covers. I was like 10, I'm like, this is a dumb
This is
fucking
I was like,
idea.
it was
Yeah,
like
this
2
is
weeks
a-
ago.
reason.
This is a dumb idea, but it might be the place you guys want to go. I'll have to figure out the name of it. I'll find out.
Perhaps
from
you
my
guys
dad.
would like to go investigate my dumb idea.
Yeah, no, it was my dad's idea. Oh, it's right around Halloween. Let's go to this place on this guy's anniversary where he got killed in this house. No.
So Nick's actually, he wants to be part of your guys' crew.
Yeah.
That's what he's really saying.
Really into
He,
this.
he wants to be the guy who screams.
Well, I think
Screams and runs.
I think it's amazingly interesting to hear about.
You're right.
So going back to people reaching out to you, your group, and as far as the Eloise tours went, how was that? You guys reaching out to the?
That's actually got a pretty interesting story about how that all came about. We were down in Indiana, actually, where I got that attachment, Randolph County Infirmary. We'd gone back to speak at a paranormal conference down there. And we got done speaking, and this guy walks up to us, Russ Robinson, who's a very good friend of ours now, and says that he knows the people who just bought Eloise. This is the late summer of 2018 when Wayne County had sold the building to these developers. So he connected us to the developers who allowed us to come in and investigate. And at that time, they were having lots of problems with people breaking into the building. So he said, why don't we
Well,
go...
first, when Russ said that, I'm like, right, you know what I mean? And then we kind of blew him off a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
a month later, he goes, do you guys want to do Eloise or what? I'm like, sure.
So
What
you,
what day?
you thought he was just
Yeah,
was
because
blowing
no one
smoke.
could ever get in there. I mean, I tried
Right.
legally. I tried to contact the county. I mean, I went through all the. And there was no way.
It was pretty much impossible when Wayne County owned it.
Well, and I think that's the big question on all this, yeah, and that's why I asked it, because people have been trying to get in there for years and years.
Yeah.
So you guys being able to get in there and not only do that for your own group for the investigation, but to get tours through there.
Yeah.
Well, how it happened was we. I said it was August 28th or August 30th.
It was, yeah, like August.
Russ goes, just give me a date. So I called him. I said, what date do you want to go? I didn't think it was going to happen. I still was like, whatever. And I gave him the date. He goes, okay, he'll meet you guys there. I'm like, I said, well, I guess we're going to go to Eloise. So we were still apprehensive even showing up there. And sure enough, he showed up. The owner showed up. We went in, and the rest is history. But after we had actually, was Alice was going to come out the next time we came out. The owner was like, yeah, that's cool. Channel 4 is coming out. I mean, no one knew that this was going to blow up.
Yeah.
We had no clue. And we had talked to the owner that night and said, would you care if, because everyone's ever wanted to get in there forever, would you care if we brought, maybe did tours? We had never really done tours in this level before. We thought maybe a few hundred people at the most.
Yeah. I did not think that was...
So we had to clean it. We had 2 weeks to clean this building. This building was knee deep, full of shit. People broke in there and just broke windows, and Wayne County left. They just got up from work one day and left all their shit.
So you guys actually went in and cleaned it yourselves?
Oh yeah, for probably almost 3 weeks leading up to the first tours, and I mean I'm talking about getting off work and going there for another 6 hours.
5 dumpsters loads.
Entire days spent. I mean, seriously, five big ass dumpsters.
I mean, because to what you guys know, we were able to be there and see it. I mean, the parts that we walked through, I never would have thought
you could
that there was that much in there, because it's obviously an old building and there's parts that are run down.
And there was stuff in some of the rooms,
Yeah.
Files and all that.
And that was the other cool thing. You mentioned that it literally looked like some of the offices people just got up and left that day.
Yeah.
Left everything, computers, everything behind, files.
Files open on a
I'm not coming back here
desk.
ever again.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys actually went, that's mind blowing to me, because
it was a lot of work just to get the tours
going. A lot of work. Some of those hallways, especially the second floor and parts of the first floor, those were the most hit by people that broke in and just broke in to vandalize it. They took paint and everything they could find and threw it everywhere. You couldn't even walk down the hallway of the second floor.
Seriously,
it was that bad.
Wow.
And you guys cleaned that all up.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, kudos, guys, because that's.
It was a lot of work.
I mean, we were able to be able to see it.
And the funny thing is, we cleaned it up, and then we decided we were going to announce the ticket sale. We had it all set up. We said we got to clean this up first before we can even do tours. We wanted to see if we can clean it up, so we busted ass, cleaned it up, and then I remember we were going to announce it live at Eloise, where people were showing up in the parking lot.
Oh yeah.
People were showing up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And we were. I'm like, this is something crazy's going to happen. And we announced it, and in 5 minutes it sold out. Eventbrite crashed. They couldn't handle the traffic. They're huge. They're second behind Ticketmaster.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think we would have got the last 4 tickets to Eloise, because I was texting back and forth with Keegan about, hey, we're gonna do this. Oh, it's gonna be so X amount, blah blah blah, and like I said, it was the last 4, and because when we first went on, there was a huge list of times and dates, and then after that, it just second by second, everything was just closed out.
It was we couldn't imagine it turning into what it turned into.
So it was just.
I say smoke. Is there something?
No.
It's just Nick.
Yeah. It's coming from a
goddamn dirty habit. Was it just garbage, or was it stuff left behind?
Well,
it was Christmas decorations. It was office supplies.
So actually, what a lot of people don't know is that that building, the first and second floor, were actually used until August of 2016. So not all that long ago. And Wayne County was using like the first floor. They had an adult daycare center, it was like a senior services. So they did like arts and crafts and left a whole bunch of that stuff in there. But there was a bunch of county offices that operated on the first and second floors too.
Senior
So
services.
yeah, I mean, there's a senior center, but there was also like the Veteran Affairs was out of there. Meals on Wheels operated out of there for a while.
Wow.
So there was a lot of like records related to that. County like financial records were left behind. Just tons of paperwork. and-
Awards, employees' awards were left behind.
Like
It's just-
and
That's it. We actually found in one of the rooms, one of the vaults, old vaults, we came across like some old awards from
Yeah, they
someone
found
that
it.
was working there.
Kay Beard's personal effects are in there, like awards and certificates and stuff.
So when was the last time it was like in actual operation?
August of 2016.
August of 2016.
Now 3, 4, and 5 have not been used since like the early 80s for
80s,
anything other than
81.
storage.
Have you guys ever sat down with a former employee?
We had them come through the tours.
Okay.
Yeah, we had people come through. We had nurses come through. We had a guy that was an orderly in the 4th floor, which was a men's unit, younger men, and he told us that there were fights like daily over anything from like the TV channel to cigarettes or whatever that he had to break up. But I mean, we did a lot of research on what was where in the building, but having people that actually worked there come through was like hugely helpful.
When at the time I was working at a Beaumont location, and there was a Site 4 at that location, and one of the nurses up there, I had mentioned that we were going on the tour of Eloise, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's where I started."
A lot of them did their residency there. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
and so to hear that, I was like, "Wow, that's absolutely insane." That there's still plenty of people around that work there, and that's where they started at.
Up until, I mean, in the late 70s, like 77, I think, until sometime around 80, it became known as the Metropolitan Regional Psychiatric Hospital. And around that time, it had 100 to 150 patients in it still. And then that's what that building was up until it closed as far as patient care goes.
Okay.
Then over off of Merriman Road, Wayne County General Hospital operated into the 90s. So Eloise kind of lived on in a way, but
Well, there's still actually Walter Reuther Hospital as a
Yeah,
active
yeah.
psychiatrist, but that was part of
it's
Eloise
active,
complex.
yeah. That was
at
built in
one
the
time.
late 70s as Eloise was closing up.
The tunnels actually connect to that building.
To Walter Reuther?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever been touched or injured by some kind of apparition or spirit?
You?
I don't know.
I've never been injured, but I have been touched, and it feels it can feel like a person touching you, or it can feel very cobwebby. So like the first time I ever was touched by like spiritual energy, I think, was at a place called the heck is it called? It's in Trinway, Ohio, Prospect Place. It was a stop on the Underground Railroad. I was almost spoiled by how active this place was, and this was May of 2012. And I'm walking down this hallway. And there's like 4 of us, and something like it felt kind of cobwebby. I felt it go like up my entire like left arm, and I'm sitting there looking at my left arm. My friend Cindy's up ahead of me and to my left, and she's looking at her right arm, and something had walked right between us and like brushed her on her right arm and me on my left arm.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So you had cooperating, you know.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here looking at my arm, and she's like looking at her arm, and she's like, "Did something touch
That's
you?"
insane.
Yeah. And then a time that was a little bit more like creepy, I guess, was at Ohio State Reformatory. So that's where they filmed Shawshank Redemption. We're on the 4th floor, and there's like there's 3 of us. We're all sitting in different jail cells, and we
It's
had
isolation,
we had a recorder going to do like an EVP session. And I'm sitting in this jail cell, and I got like I'm like leaned forward, like elbows on my knees, and I asked, "How did you pass the time in here?" And I felt clearly like a finger like this go like inside my right thigh, like from the bottom of my leg to the top of my leg, and I jumped out of that jail cell.
I was gonna say, hit me time.
And my friend
I might have stayed in there longer.
I was not sticking around. My friend who was in there said, "I've never seen you move like that." I said, "Well, I've never had that kind of experience." Yeah, that was crazy.
Did you find the cell where Andy Dufresne was
They have.
fished at the end of the row?
They have a lot of props there.
Yeah.
From like the tunnel that they have him like crawling through.
Yeah.
Is there that little box that Morgan Freeman digs up with all the information in there that Andy wanted to give him is there. Tons of movie props are still there.
Wow.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Let's go, please.
So if there were to be a location, like as we were just talking about, there's some places you guys, haven't been able to get into yet or whatnot, what would be the ultimate, dream investigation location?
What do you think? Do you have one?
I always say Alcatraz because I think that would be cool. Just if you had that by yourself, just our group there with just by ourselves on that island for overnight.
Have either of you guys been there just to walk through?
I've never been
as
there at
tourists?
all. No.
Okay.
I've never been there either. I don't know. I think that list is always changing. For a long time, for me, it was the Winchester Mystery House, and I still would love to get in there and do an actual investigation. But that said, some of the most haunted places we've ever been to was that lighthouse in Beaver Island and Iron County, and the places that aren't even known.
Kind of, yeah,
really.
not on the map.
The more untouched places, and we're always discovering new places like that. So that list, I think, is always changing for me.
We're doing the Clausen Historical Society Museum.
You saw that?
On February 7th. And so that's never been investigated before either. So we get excited for places like that. Because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you guys ever had any kind of Native American spirits or anything like that? Any experience with anything like that? I know most of the time it's sacred and you don't want
We actually respect that.
We respect that. For instance, when we went to Beaver Island, that building that we did investigate, that former newspaper print shop is now a museum, and they have a little section of it dedicated to Native American history where they have artifacts and stuff. And just kind of out of respect, we didn't really go into that area, but we've never investigated on burial grounds or anything like that.
No, yeah, I would imagine that would definitely be.
We did visit some burial grounds. Where in the UP? Where was that at?
Well, we didn't investigate it, but
We
visited. Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
I forget where exactly that was.
Would you say that there's Detroit Paranormal Expeditions? I'm sure it's not the same name, but I'm sure there's an equivalent in Ohio, in Illinois.
Oh, there's thousands of paranormal teams across the United States.
Have you, when you are looking at some place new where you guys want to go, does it come into play at all whether or not any of those other, competitors or your peers have been there before?
I think it's really cool to find locations that haven't been done yet, but we've never turned a place down because some other team had been there. It's not like that. Yeah.
If they have, will you go to their website and review their footage, or do you just kind of want to go in blind? I know they were there before, but I don't even want to look at what they found.
Yeah, because I think I find with paranormal experiences, not everyone has the same experience. Mm-hmm. I'll say we go to the 6th precinct and we get a bunch of evidence, and another team will go in there in the same area and not get anything, or their evidence will be totally different.
But sometimes you do that.
On a residual kind of haunting, you might catch it in that loop. But if I can't really say that you can compare other people's evidence with yours, because a lot of times it's not the same.
Sometimes it crosses over though, and this is sort of a different topic. But for instance, the show Paranormal Lockdown with Nick Groff, when Nick Groff went to Randolph County Infirmary, one of the things that they reported on this show and had audio of was this, it sounds like a heavy metal door in the basement, slamming. And it was about 5 a.m, and the front part of this building is sort of the people that took care of it actually lived there, so it's like a normal house, kind of. And we were, Matt, Todd, myself, were all sleeping in this one room, and we were just going to bed, and I heard the same thing that they played on that show, no one else in the building, and just this boom, this loud echoed through the building in the basement. It was not anywhere near subtle. And I look over my shoulder, I roll over, and Todd's across the room, and Todd's sitting straight up in his bed. I thought he was possessed. That was more scary than the door.
Come on, Todd.
Because I just sat up and I'm I didn't know if they were asleep or not.
I look over and Todd's just
I was waiting to hear if something else was going to happen because it was so loud. And we got not a lot of activity, but it was pretty active. And we were locked in. We were locked in that building. There was no one else in the building except us 3.
Lauren actually wouldn't sleep in the building. She slept in the truck.
I'll bet that happens a lot, though.
She does not like to sleep in a lot of places.
Nick would be the sleep in the truck guy.
Oh, yeah.
Nick would be the stay in the truck guy.
I don't like sleeping in places too often. I've done it a few times. I don't usually sleep well. So especially if we're out of state and we got a long drive home, it's you're so tired.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you guys reach out to these different locations, or do they come to you?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
both. When we first started, I reached out to everybody. Now it's more people reach out to us, want us to come out or suggest locations, and will give us the contact information. We'll reach out. Winchester Mystery House, I reached out to them. The bigger ones, we reach out to them. They don't need us, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
So, speaking of which, I'm trying to go. I can't even remember the name of the show, but you were explaining one of the first investigations you did in Taylor, Michigan.
Yeah, Norris
that
Farmhouse.
was Paranormal Survivor.
Was it okay?
Yep, Norris Farm.
And that was one of your first ones that you did.
That was, yeah, it was Lisa Norris, who owns it, is a friend of mine. And she has this farmhouse that she says was haunted. And growing up in the area, I always thought the house was haunted.
Okay.
It sits off by itself, and it's on 10 acres. So she said, yeah, you guys come back. We've investigated quite a few times.
Yeah, we've got some pretty interesting stuff there. We've had a lot of experiences.
They target me.
Yeah,
It's like a
they
negative
do. For some
type
reason.
energy
They don't like
targets me.
Todd there.
I don't know why.
Well, being from the area.
It could be, and she's had other psychics come in and kind of bless the land. They think there might be Native American kind of energies there that are affecting it. And she actually texted me the other day and wants us to come back. So it's really crazy.
I mean, it's a really neat place. I'd love to go back.
So now, if for looking in the future a little bit, at any point, do you guys think you'd be able to make this your full-time gig? Or is that something you want to do?
You know, I've often thought about that. I really love what I do in PR. Like, I absolutely love my field, and I have a great job, great benefits and stuff like that. So, I mean, paranormal stuff and entertainment things in general, it's like, I feel like it's got a shelf life, you know, and I don't know about making a career out of it. I mean, possibly. If the opportunity presented itself and I thought it was really sustainable in the long term, maybe I'd have to consider it, but you know, I don't have a job I'm trying to walk away from, so I like sticking.
I have 26 years in my job, so
right.
I
So,
you know, I mean, I can retire in 2 years. I work for the city of Taylor, so.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, I feel like that pressure's going to be getting a little bit greater in about 2 years.
yeah, right.
I mean, I work a lot on the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
All the time. Every chance I get free time, I'm always
Right.
bugging him about stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be constant. He's going to be like 10 a.m., noon.
I was going to say, yeah, imagine when he's
Hey,
retired.
Jeff, look what I found.
Hey, he
When are you getting off
can
work?
manage everything full time. That sounds good to me.
But it'll come probably to a point where it'll get, once it starts not being fun, I'm going to be done.
Yeah.
It's still fun
Yeah.
to me. But, I mean, everything runs its, like he said, its course eventually.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we'll see where it goes. I mean, we're not planning on going anywhere soon. We're going to keep working hard and doing fun stuff. But as a full-time, I mean, like Jeff said, if the opportunity came up where it was going to pay all our bills and
Right, be really lucrative. or
yeah,
something.
then we could probably do it.
And so now another thing too, I want to go back and touch on with with Eloise. So, and again, this is something I don't know if you guys can disclose or discuss, but the development that's there. What are the future plans for that property?
He's had a couple different ideas. I know one idea he was looking at was possibly turning it into a hotel. So kind of like
Yeah, I saw that
a
one.
historic hotel, sort of something, think more along the lines of like the Stanley kind of type thing, 1930s era themed hotel, which I think would be a really good use for the building. I know the initial plans were making it a senior living facility. He had mentioned that he might do a brand new one from the ground up, which I think would be great, and then use D-building for a different purpose.
Okay.
So I would love to see him do that. He doesn't have plans to tear it down, which I'm really happy about. I think that's an important part of history, and I'm glad to see
definitely.
that he's interested in kind of keeping that alive.
Awesome.
What do you guys find typically, like, if you find anything, like, I guess, synonymous with highly active places? Like, do you find where life was taken away quickly, or where someone just passed away in their home, they don't want to leave? I mean, I'm assuming you did some kind of research into the places you guys go to see who you might be visited by or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think like a battle, something like that, where, you know, people weren't ready to die, like that's going to be more of a lingering energy, high energy place? Or
I think there's different, like obviously hospitals or asylums or prisons where there is a lot of death. Eloise, for example, at least had 10,000, I would say, deaths on that property.
Easily.
But you go into a home, we get calls about this before, like a couple married for 50 or 60 years, the husband passed away or the wife passes away, and we had one lady, Jackie, reach out to us about she heard footsteps upstairs, different things like that. But then we had our psychic connect with her, and and this is the way I feel too, that it was her husband letting her know that he's okay.
Mhm.
She was so upset, so distraught, and missed him so much. He was just kind of letting her know it wasn't anything negative or bad. And I think you find that a lot in, you know, homes where a loved one has passed away, kind of comfort the ones that are still left here. You know, like I said, the bigger ones like prisons and stuff like that, you have more violent people mixed in with good people. You're gonna have a weird mix of energy.
Anywhere that's really historic, I mean, a place that's been around a long time, there's a lot of energy coming in with people, and then people leaving. It's constant, just in and out. You know, places, where there was traumatic energy, you know, abuse, early death, things like that, it does tend to stick around. But not necessarily everywhere like that. I mean, some just regular houses, really, a lot of them keep a lot of spiritual energy, even if there's not really record of things like that happening.
So, so from what I've heard and kind of researched is like something like a residual haunt. That's just like what you guys were saying. Someone's energy is left in that place. Like you're to walk a hallway every single day of your life until your death.
Yep.
So that might come back and replay itself.
Yeah, and no amount of us trying to talk to it or coax it into doing something.
Right, it's just going to keep on doing that exact same thing.
What it does. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're playing on a record.
And that was going to be my next question. Your thoughts on, and if they're two different things, maybe I just don't understand, but, you know, residual energy versus actual intelligent spirits, you know, and they're two different things to my understanding. Correct?
They are definitely different.
We actually have, we could play, there's a Whitney, we think it's a residual, a woman humming. We think it's Grace Whitney, David Whitney's daughter.
Yeah.
She would not interact with us at all. But there's been reports of that humming being heard from other people too. That's one that, you know, teams have said that they had heard the same thing.
And it's not prompted. No one's asking her to do that. And that's, if you're on our SoundCloud, that's the second one. I think it says like woman humming. Is a picture of the Whitney.
Oh boy.
So what's kind of cool about this one, so like that shipwreck EVP we played, like we didn't hear that till we listened back later. This was heard in the moment by Brandy, Lauren, and Todd.
I think that's gonna make more noise.
Yeah, no, Nick's got it pretty tucked in there.
All right.
And what about the mic?
But that's, I mean, we don't know for sure, but that's what we consider, or we feel would be a residual energy.
Yeah.
It's constantly just in that area.
All right, here we go.
Did you hear that?
It's really faint.
Yeah.
Is that on the website or the SoundCloud?
This is on the website.
Try the SoundCloud, because that one I amplified the beginning of it a little bit, and that humming is a little easier to hear. It's got a picture. It's like the second.
Yeah, it's like second one on the SoundCloud.
Yep.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, you can definitely hear that in the background.
It's like, it reminded me like an old song. Like she was
If you're listening to the longer sort of unclipped version of that, it sort of trails off. It's like this. It's got that sound, and then they respond to it, and then if you listen really closely to the original audio file, it just like got this hollowed out kind of.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it in the background.
Yeah, it was like, and we were able to hear that. So they claim that's Grace Whitney's daughter, David Whitney, who was the owner of.
Yeah, that was captured in the carriage house. It's sort of like a Victorian era like garage, right, where they kept the horse carriages and stuff. But she used to sit in the second part of it and have tea all the time. Her table where she sat is still set up there.
And that's where she would most likely be sitting and humming.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we didn't ask for it. We didn't even start investigating it.
Just
popped up.
Yeah.
And you said that was actually something you guys heard
in the moment
in person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be what's called an AVP or an audible voice phenomenon versus an EVP or electronic voice phenomenon like Beaver Island, where we heard nothing in the moment, just silence. But when you listen back, there's this very clear exorcist-like voice telling you that I told you to go.
That's crazy too, because the one from Beaver Island is obviously way louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's powerful energy.
But you weren't able to hear that in person.
Right.
Nothing.
And the one from the Whitney, you guys heard that even though it was kind of faint in the background.
And, and then after we heard that, obviously we tried to interact with that energy, and nothing happened after that. If we would have heard that at Beaver Island in the moment, we'd have tried more.
Right.
We left like 2 minutes after that. I think 5 minutes after that.
You would have? You would have tried more after hearing that?
They would. We know you wouldn't have.
Well, I know, but Todd is a little parallel with me on some of this stuff where he's like, nope, I'm gone.
That, because we were hearing we tried to get in that building. We thought maybe there's a door open somewhere, and we kept hearing stuff on the other side of the door.
That was very...
Everything you just described, I would not do.
That was very guttural, though. I mean, that was...
It was like angry.
It was, yeah.
And that's something that I think was an intelligent response, because like we were talking about the psychic that saw the woman saying, go, you need to leave, and then we stay, and it's like, I told you to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like responding to us staying there.
Get the hell out of here. Don't
Yeah,
mess
that's
with the door
not an
anymore.
visual thing.
Yeah. That was when Jeff was messing with the doors when that said that. So
Yeah.
Well, no, because you had said, with the heavy footsteps of the boots, you're like, I'm done.
I've left Eloise scared.
So
by
that was on the list.
He was in Eloise at the time. You would not have made it in Eloise.
Oh yeah, there's no way you would have made it as far as.
I'm surprised I made it.
He tapped out after he'd already been in the place and gone through a whole bunch of stuff. But his threshold is much higher than yours.
Oh, there's no doubt. 100%.
So I wanted to touch on that as far as having you here in person. I mean, I know you did the interview, for Travel Channel, all that, but what was this isn't cable television, so you can actually say what was going through your mind as far as expletives and all that.
Well, what happened was that was our first night ever investigating there. So it was probably like 1:32 in the morning, I think. And I got on my phone on Facebook. We're staying in the hall, all of us, and I got on Facebook, just Facebooking, and everyone kind of walked out of the building. I wasn't paying attention, so I got up and like, fuck, they left me here. So
Does that happen a lot? Jeff's like, yeah, you did. Again.
Jeff's like, oh, Todd's Facebooking.
I didn't know they left the whole building. They actually were gone. I thought they were maybe off the floor. But we were running our Facebook live stream, so I went over to the monitor and started answering people's questions on Facebook Live. And that's when I heard something behind me. This happened a couple times. I'm like, what the f...
You don't have to censor yourself. Like I said, you're good.
I said, hello, is anyone there? I said, what the fuck? I was getting kind of scared, but then I thought, it stopped. I thought maybe it was a rat or something, because it was kind of loud in the back corner of this room. And this is the first time we were ever there. So I felt comfortable. It felt like someone was there because I was talking to people on Facebook. You know what I mean? No,
right.
They weren't there. It just felt like someone was there with me. And then it got louder, and I said, hello? Hello? And I shined the light, and I thought, again, that those guys had snuck in somehow and came back in the building and were trying to scare me. And then I went back and shined, there was nothing there. And this noise, and I could feel this energy coming towards me, and I could hear it was not stopping this time. It was getting louder and louder, and I said, I'm out of here. I think on that thing, they kind of bleeped out what I said. So I went out, you can see on the cameras I'm going out of the building. I go downstairs, and it's not quick to get from the third floor all the way out to where they were.
A lot of steps.
And I was going fast because I was freaking out.
I love it. I was going fast.
And they're all outside. There's no one in the building. They're all outside. So the weird thing even shows on that video from that show, and they didn't show all of it, but after we left, or I left, we went back and listened to it. And the story of even pulling that video up is a weird thing too.
Yeah.
That happened. I'll tell that story too. But for 5 minutes straight, there's loud noises, shuffling and cabinets opening. And
Well, that's it. Then one you can actually you can tell it's a clear shower curtain.
Oh yeah.
That was ripped open.
And that's because the way we did our static cams back then was a little bit different, and we just ran the cameras back to a monitor, all four, and then there was just a phone on a tripod looking at the monitor, and that was Facebook Live. Well, when you do it that way, you're also getting all the audio in that room, because that's what the phone is hearing.
Right.
So when Todd leaves, and we had the camera set up over like the only ways, looking down the main hallway, looking at the door, looking at the other, covers the other.
Everything was
stairwell.
covered to get out of that building.
And Todd leaves, and he's not gone 60 seconds before you can start to hear this, like walking and shower curtains moving, and it's not subtle.
Bangs, and there's the
on
cameras are
YouTube.
showing there's nothing in that room.
Right.
There's nothing in there.
It's like a 10-minute video. I think it's called Ghosts in Eloise Psychiatric Hospital. It's on our YouTube channel if anybody wants to watch it. But watch it with headphones, and it was nuts. And
Usually, like Jeff said, paranormal activity is usually subtle. Like, did we hear that? We got to go over the recordings over and over. But this was very blatant.
Tell them about how you came across that clip, though.
So, I was asleep. It was around 2:30 in the morning, and I heard my fire alarm go off in my house. You have fire alarms in every room, and I could not find it anywhere. I woke up.
It was beeping like a low battery type
Yeah.
thing, right?
So I went around and looked every room, couldn't find it. Went back to bed. It stopped. I waited. I sat on the couch for like 10 minutes waiting for it to go off. You know, because you know how they go off every so quick.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go off. So it went off again, and I go and I found it. I followed it down to my office area, and then it stopped. But my laptop was open, and that video of that, all that noise, it was on. I didn't put it on there.
Like playing.
Playing, yeah. My laptop was open, which I always keep closed and turned off. It was on Facebook, because it was a Facebook Live video. And I think I texted you like that night, like 3 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
It was-
he's obviously asleep, but
Yeah.
I think you're not gonna believe this shit.
He was like, you gotta
That's
watch
fucked up.
this at this time. And I went and looked at it, and I was like, holy shit, you know?
That's when we saw it. You can hear. I would have never saw that. We would have never even known because it was a Facebook Live video.
That's absolutely insane.
And you saw what? I'm sorry.
That's how they caught all that.
All that
Noise.
noise and stuff.
Oh, you didn't
When I
know
walked-
beforehand.
No.
No, he woke up, and then, like, his laptop was just open to that part of the video.
No.
The exact part
Dude.
when I walked out.
Yeah.
Holy. Wow.
That's how we clipped it.
That's fucked up.
I never had to change the battery in the smoke alarm. It never went off again. It was just weird.
Just,
This guy.
I feel so bad for your poor wife.
I don't have one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
I
a
need to
single man.
apologize. That's my
Man,
choice.
I'm not a psychic. But your kids then, because there's been so many stories where
Oh, there's one with
I'm
my
like,
son.
Jesus, is there any? Have you guys spent one day, like 24-hour period, without having to deal with some sort of spook, specter, ghost apparition, like shit going off? You know, just crazy. Is there? Do you get any night? Do you sleep?
Oh yeah, I sleep fine.
Yeah.
There is an instance at my house. I think my house might be haunted, or I brought something home.
Another one.
I was watching, my son Jackson and I were watching, I think, Monday Night Football or something. This was like years or so ago. And he just got out of the shower like an hour earlier. And I heard a girl's voice in the back by his bedroom, in the back of the house. I couldn't make out what she was saying, but I just kept looking at the TV and acting like I didn't hear it because I didn't want to scare him. And he goes, Dad, did you hear that? I go, what? He goes, there's a girl. It sounded like there's a girl in the back of the house. I'm like, I think that was just, I actually rationalized to him that it was the shower, the water running, but I made up something real quick. He was, oh, okay. And rationalized, oh, I'm thinking, fuck, I heard it, and he finally heard it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You almost get desensitized to this kind of stuff. Like, similar to that, one time, I was living in Garden City up until about a little less than a year ago, and I was taking laundry down to the basement, and I'm walking through, like, the kitchen to go to the stairs, and I heard, like, in my ear, when I turned the corner, like, this woman, like, whispering. Just, I couldn't make out the words, it was real quick, just kind of like right in my ear, but I could hear it. I didn't even acknowledge it, I just kept on walking, you know, because, like, you do this stuff so much, and you have so many experiences, I just kind of, like, I'm not dealing with it right now. But it doesn't freak me out so much like it used to anymore, because I guess we've just experienced so much.
You get a little desensitized to it.
Yeah.
But that would freak me out because it was in my house and Jackson heard it, but I didn't want to make him panic, so I just kept my cool because I would have been like, what the fuck? But I just kept staring at the TV, acting like I didn't hear it. I wanted to like go in the back of the house, but I didn't. And he heard it, and I just rationalized him and he never said anything about it again.
Yeah. As a parent, that's what you got to do. Just play it off. Like I'm okay. It's nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing, buddy.
I didn't want to
You'll be
scare
fine.
him. But it's nothing's bad's ever happened.
Right.
It's comfortable. People feel comfortable in the house. It's homey. So.
Homie and haunted.
It's a bachelor pad, so.
Another thing that came to mind too when you guys were doing the Destination Fear, and you guys I know I have their names here somewhere.
Dakota?
Dakota, Chelsea, and Tanner.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to interact with them a lot when they were at Eloise, or
I did, yeah.
I did, yeah.
how were they? Were they, you know?
They're actually really, really good people.
Are they? Because
yeah, I think they're
We
genuine.
loved their show.
After watching the one from Eloise, we ended up watching the rest of their show, and it seemed like they basically got the same impression that they were pretty
Very
cool
down
and-
to earth.
Yeah.
Very genuine, good people.
I still talk to Chelsea and Dakota every now and then, and they share our stuff on Facebook. And when I post stuff, they share it on Instagram and stuff like that. So they're, I think they're authentic and genuine. I mean, I always tell them I hope they don't turn after they get successful. They're successful, obviously now. It's probably I think Travel Channel's second highest rated show right now. They got renewed for the second season.
Yes.
So,
Mind you, I didn't like any of this stuff until I started dating him. I hate haunted houses because it scares the crap out of me. I was terrified to go into Eloise when we went to Eloise. But, like, now I can't, like, not watch it. It is. Yeah. But I would have never, ever. Like Nick, there's no way. I wouldn't have.
And that's, so when we got done with Eloise.
Maybe you just need to be with Corey.
When we were walking out, we literally had to turn back around so she'd go and buy that sweatshirt because she's like, oh, I can't believe I did this.
I was like, I need it. I need proof that I did this.
Awesome.
And now anytime you guys have anything on, you know, any tour, anything.
Oh, I send every time you guys share something, I send it to him.
I get it. That's awesome. Wake up that morning and
appreciate that. Yeah, it's
so.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's fun, and we love sharing what we do and having other people experience. And I can't explain it. I hate roller coasters. I'm afraid of heights, but a lot of times it's like a rush for me. It's just.
I can imagine. It is a rush. I can definitely imagine when something really, really like kind of profound happens, and like it's you can't explain it.
When we pull up to a new place and you're pulling up, like, and you can see it, I get butterflies, like, oh my god, I can't believe we're getting ready to go in this place. Yeah, it's just
that's sweet. And that's awesome that you guys enjoy it, you know, as much as you do. You know, and obviously not trying to compare, you know, you guys with other shows or whatever, but yeah, you see the shows out there that things kind of start dwindling down, and you can tell it becomes more of a job than it is, you know, an actual passion.
Yeah.
So for you, gotta keep it fun. Once it's not fun for me, like I said, I'll be done with it.
Well, I think too that's sort of one of the reasons why this year we're sort of like focusing a little bit back on what we did initially with like working with these historical societies and giving back to them and doing a little bit more like actual investigating. And we're still gonna do some events and we're still gonna do some live streams and stuff. It's just not gonna be all of that like it was last year because like it's really fun for us to kind of do that sort of organic stuff that we kind of got away from in 2019.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So we did we went to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital a few years ago, and that's like on the border of Tennessee and Alabama.
Which was awesome. So cool.
But we'll stop in little towns on the way, like in Kentucky, I think Elizabeth.
That's like my favorite thing in the world, seriously. Like we'll go to a place, in like, South Tennessee or the UP or whatever, and it's just like we'll be driving and we'll be like, hey, do you want to stop at Elizabethtown, like coming up? And we just go check out the town and see if there's like a brewery or something. And, we ended up we meet interesting people at these places and just hear about their stories.
So it's almost like a vacation for you guys.
It is.
Going to these different locations.
Yeah.
We went to Shepherdstown a couple years ago.
It's all part of the journey.
Meeting those people, and I don't know, that's part of what we do. It's not always just the tour thing, which I think we got away from, like what we really want to do.
Yeah, right. The road trips are so much fun.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Would you ever be interested in doing a dual investigation with the Schnozzcast?
Sure. Wait, hold on. What are we investigating?
I don't know yet.
Are you not going to be sick that week?
I'm not going to be sick. I might be intoxicated, very heavily intoxicated.
That helps, I'm sure.
First of all, I'll tell you I'm in.
Oh, really?
Well,
we could have guessed that.
I think out of all of us, I think I'm the only one that would be completely okay with that.
I'd be fine. I'd be scared, but I'd do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a yes.
This is the time where Todd and Jeff go, look guys, you don't do shots when you're investigating paranormal. We don't crack wise about each other's buttholes or any other sort of scatological humor that you guys are going to say.
Oh, we do joke around a lot, but we don't drink at all. We do investigations.
Yeah, well, I think we're out.
I'm in. I'm definitely in. Has there ever, touching on that, has there ever been like a comedic, like the most comedic moment when you guys were doing an investigation? Whether it been one of you guys, playing a prank on someone or
2 hours in a room, total silence, somebody shouts once.
Oh man, you know what? Actually, I was thinking of the same thing.
Yeah,
I called.
You're probably thinking of Old South Pittsburgh, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, I wasn't in the room for that one. Thank God. I just started cracking up. You can tell them if you want. I mean, don't say any names, obviously, but
I don't even care if I say the name.
Honestly, the names don't mean anything to us at this point.
So Old South Pittsburgh, it's a hospital in Old South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And it's really pretty active. Really,
it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
We stayed the night actually inside the hospital for 2 nights. And it was a public event, so I was up on I think the 2nd or 3rd floor, one of the patient rooms. And someone was using the spirit box. He was in there originally. I didn't want to do this But he was in there. He goes, I don't know. You had to go
I had to take a break. It had been like 2 hours or something.
It was just getting monotonous. There was nothing happening, but people were really like wanting stuff to happen. There was really nothing happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it got quiet, and this lady squatted down. She farted, and there's like 10 people in this room, and no one said anything. No one laughed. I'm like, I had to walk out of the room because I was
No one acknowledged it whatsoever.
no.
I would have cracked up.
I had to hold my mouth and
So I
walk
said,
out.
Thank God I wasn't there.
Did you hear that?
I went
It's a ghost fart.
Oh my God.
I said, you're like down the hall or something. That's when I started laughing, but I had to like walk out of the room. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? No one laughed. I seen her squat down and she farted. And I was looking for someone's reaction and no one said anything. I'm like, what's wrong with these people?
Well, I would have been right there with it. I would have lost it.
Yeah, thank God I wasn't in that room.
So what the fuck? You're not going to believe this. And I started telling him I was laughing so hard.
Oh, you dirty bitch. All right.
Oh. Well run dry.
No, I said there's so much we could go on about, and I feel bad now because it's we're going on 11, 10.
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Yeah, and we had 2 hours and 10 minutes worth of content.
Audio, yeah.
I don't want to hold you guys up any longer, so we can put a bow on this.
Yep.
Sure.
And maybe in the future come back for another
Absolutely, yeah.
another
Anytime.
cast.
Anytime.
You guys are always welcome back.
We appreciate it. We had a good time.
No, again, thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely appreciate
Yeah,
it.
our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So to all the listeners, good night.
Good night.
Have a good
Episode
night.
56 in the can. Thank you very much for joining us. Look for us out on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play Music, Spotify, YouTube. Corey, I'm going to get that to iTunes, the audio up. Maybe tomorrow, but certainly by Sunday. What do you think for the YouTube?
Probably get it up by. I could probably get it by Sunday.
You think so?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I've
again.
got a system.
Looks like date night's up.
He works all weekend.
I've got a system down now.
Oh, doing it at work, eh?
No.
Well,
Would never do such thing.
For you guys, where can people find you?
Our website is DetroitParanormalExpeditions.com. Right up there at the top of the page, you'll see all of our social links. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So connect with
Snapchat,
us.
are we still on Snapchat?
We have one. We don't use it.
It's gone to the wayside.
You know, I would.
You guys are all on
I would
TikTok
use-
now, aren't you?
No, not yet.
Oh, boy.
I would use Snapchat, but like Instagram makes it really easy. If you have two accounts, you can just toggle between them.
Yeah.
Snapchat, you have to like log out and then log in. You can't have multiple accounts, so it's
Correct.
hard.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you guys very much, and hopefully they'll have you back soon.
Thank you,
Yeah, for
everyone who
sure.
tuned in.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.